Continuing with our format change from 2018, the Moore's Dinner main stage presents the perfect opportunity to hear from NAILBA's new chairperson. Sagacious Chad Milner III assumed the role of President and Chief Executive Officer of the Milner Group in 2017, becoming the third or fourth, he'll tell you, generation of his family to run the business. Chad is part of the fourth generation, read the thing, Jeff, of his family to be in the insurance business and had previously served as the vice president of a vice president of the senior markets division of the Milner Group since 2001. You've probably seen by now, he recently sold his senior markets business that he built from scratch just a few years ago. Because of his dedication to the Milner Group and to the brokerage business, Chad has been recognized and awarded for his excellence and outstanding achievements with NAILBA Atlanta's 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2017 Top Advisors Under 40 Award. Yeah, that's a lot of math. Chad maintains active involvement in the business, having served on the board of directors for LifeMark Partners and currently NAILBA. He's also an active member of the AIG Advisory Council. Chad's faith, strength, and undeniable focus fuels his commitment to be the best innovator in this business. He's married to Wendy Milner, with whom he has two loving sons, Sage Milner IV and Luke Milner. And ironically, when NAILBA created the prestigious Douglas Moores Award in 1986, Sagacious Milner was the first recipient. Tonight, we welcome NAILBA 2020 Chairman, Mr. Chad Milner.
Thank you, Jeff, for your years of service to NAILBA. Congratulations, Cindy, tonight. And thank you, Myra, for being an excellent ambassador over the last year for NAILBA at all the meetings and all the events you've attended. We really appreciate that. You know, NAILBA is very special to me. We were both born about the same time. About 40 years ago. I'm 41, NAILBA's 38. We were probably actually conceived about the same exact time. But, so I remember growing up in this business, like many of you. I remember walking into our office, probably the early 80s. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I remember walking into the office, and back then it was a big bullpen with a lot of cubicles and nice offices on the outside, but back then you could smoke in the building, so I remember kind of smoke rising up, and as a kid, I don't know why they let me run around, but I would run around the building. I remember going in the back towards the bathroom. There were these shelves with life insurance applications and papers everywhere. There was little cups, really cool cups sitting on the shelves, and I remember opening up those cups and going to the water fountain and drinking water out of them and just running around the office, and somebody grabbed me and said, "What the hell are you doing? You're drinking out of the Pyramid cups." I'm like, well, what does that matter? Somebody explained to me that as a life insurance agent, you go sit down with somebody, you fill out an application, you hand them the cup, you get them to pee in it, stick it in the mail, and they get the results, and that's how you get life insurance. I said, there's no way in hell I'm going to be a life insurance agent. So at a very young age, I did not want to be in life insurance. And like many of us, as you're in this business, in this family, there becomes a moment when you realize the value and the reality of life insurance. And I'll never forget that moment with me. My dad took me to a family's house after a funeral, and it was a client of his. And I remember seeing the kids in the house crying. I remember seeing all of the family there, and the kids were about my age. And I remember getting in the car, riding home with Dad over that, and he told me the father and the family had been on a camping trip. They were hiking, and the father literally fell off the edge of a mountain on a cliff right in front of the kids and died. And I remember him telling me, son, this is why we do what we do, so I can deliver a death claim to that family so those kids can continue their life in that house. They can go to college, go to school, get married, and their life can continue. And I'll never forget that moment, Dad. That's when you really became a hero in my mind. And for me, life insurance became real. And I realized this is the most noble profession in all of the world, really. And I realized then, I want to be in life insurance. I can make a change. And as you know, things have changed over time. With NAILBA, with our industry, things will continue to change. And it almost feels like some of you guys are just still holding on to those Pyramid cups, and you don't even know what it is. And times will continue to change. And I'll tell you about NAILBA, where we are today, but to tell you where we are today, I've got to tell you in the past, we've made some mistakes, and I'm not blaming anyone. But as chairman this year, I've got a responsibility to right the ship. And we made some contract commitments in past years. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback. I'm not blaming anyone, but we made commitments to future hotels. We cannot fulfill those commitments, very simply. If we would have continued on the path we were on several years ago, we would be bankrupt today. If it weren't for Dan Lebert, Jeff and Myra and other people who have saved us, this year alone, $600,000, they've reduced our budget deficit. There were many times when I'm sure Dan wanted to quit, but he didn't. He stuck with us. He's done an excellent job, and I'm very proud of him. But where we are today, we still have a slight deficit. We've got work to do. There are things that we plan on doing this next year to balance our budget and to get out of these contracts in the future. And just one of those ideas is to have the NAILBA certification for case management. Have a very rigorous training, an online tool so your case managers can become certified by NAILBA. You can put it on your website as a badge of honor. It will help your case managers become more efficient. If we have 500 of those, we'll raise $500,000 and we'll be able to get out of these long-term contracts, and NAILBA will be able to continue for generations into the future. So that's our commitment for this next year. The other commitment is we will balance our budget. NAILBA will not go down under my watch. So with that commitment, I challenge you, as things change in our industry, quit holding on to that cup full of urine and embrace the future and become a hero for all those widows and orphans. Thank you.